Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest on Storm Babet that is going to be arriving as we head into tomorrow, bringing its biggest impacts as we head through Thursday and Friday. Now, we did see multiple yellow warnings issued yesterday and in the previous days, and I did say it was highly likely we were to see an amber warning issued, and that has happened. For that south and eastern corner of Scotland, we now have an amber warning issued, and there is even the risk that it could be upgraded to a red warning, given the impact matrix at the moment is one square away from being a red warning. Other areas as well could be upgraded to amber warnings as well. So we'll go through what's going on the live radar at the moment as we are seeing some initial rain moving in, but this is not Storm Babet yet. That is coming tomorrow. Have a look at the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, along with those various weather warnings. As said, widespread yellow warnings and now an amber warning issued. And then we'll have a look at the longer ranges. The longer range is looking very interesting as well, as we're likely to see some colder easterly winds arrive into the weekend, and then to go into a more unsettled westerly spell as we head towards the second half of October. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. Now, today's been another pretty cold, dry day for many, as we still have the remnants of high pressure and a cold air mass over the top of us. But it's now getting pushed away, and we are now seeing warmer but very unsettled air move up from the south. Now, at the moment, you can see we've got a weather front here, across much of Ireland and Northern Ireland, and this is going to give some very heavy rain overnight tonight, but no warnings issued for this. Warnings for Northern Ireland come into force tomorrow afternoon. That's the first warning we're going to be seeing from Storm Babet. You can see the main low pressure system associated with Storm Babet is down towards Portugal and Spain at the moment. Again, Storm Babet's a very weird sort of system. It's not a well-defined centre of the low. It's more the general area of rain and low pressure. And we'll be able to see that on the pressure charts in a minute. There's no real major defined centre. There's just lots of areas of heavy rain and strong winds spiralling in the overall region of northwest Europe, mainly over the top of us, really. Now, if you look at the temperatures this evening, around 7 p.m. now, and it's warming up a little bit in the south. This is warmer than it was sort of yesterday afternoon. It may not feel like it because it's still pretty chilly, but it is warming up generally as milder air masses are getting pushed up from the south. But equally, if we look out to Scandinavia, it's turning much colder, and these temperature collisions in towards the weekend could start to give maybe some snow for Scotland and actually pep up any precipitation we do see into the weekend. And I do emphasise precipitation because most of it will be rain, but Scotland, some of this higher routes, could see even some heavy snowfall, really only in over the highest ground, but regardless, still is looking very possible into the weekend. Now, if you look at the latest weather warnings, you can see the first warning issued is tomorrow, and it's for the whole of Northern Ireland, and it is for rain. It's from 2 p.m. tomorrow until 10 a.m. tomorrow. So actually, even though we are going to see lots of heavy rain around, the biggest impacts are not going to be arriving until Thursday or Friday. Tomorrow it's going to be a washout for many, especially in the afternoon or evening. But that is not what the warnings are issued for. We'll have a look at what they're issued for, as I said, in a minute. Now, if you scroll down, you can see it's been updated today. It's been expanded to cover the whole of Northern Ireland, but the impact level has been reduced, and the start time has been updated to later on Wednesday and earlier on Thursday there. 30 to 50 millimetres could fall in these areas, and few places could see 75 to 100 millimetres. Reasonably high impact, but low likely. Unsure exactly how much rain we'll see, but it's highly likely we do see heavy rainfall, with only some of those areas seeing those really high levels of rainfall. Again, I will run through these warnings pretty quickly as we've got loads of warnings to get through. So if you are interested in seeing this in more detail, reading the full paragraph, looking at all the regions and local authorities and some of the other impacts, do go over to the Met Office website and have a look at them in detail yourself. Now into into Thursday, you can see the huge array of weather warnings we have. Now, we've still got the Northern Ireland warning, and then this big warning comes into force for most of Scotland, much of northern England and into parts of eastern England here. And it's from 6 a.m. on Thursday, so Wednesday night really, all the way till 6 a.m. on Saturday. So a 48-hour warning, and it's again, Storm Babet will bring a period of very wet weather to many eastern parts of England, the Pennines and Scotland. And again, the warning has been updated, expanded, and the start time has been delayed until Thursday. So initially on Wednesday, but obviously to today, the models have pushed back the heaviest stuff a little bit later on. You see, widely 20 to 40 millimetres is expected, but some upland areas of northern England and Scotland could see as much as 70 to 100 millimetres. And again, these are the yellow warning areas. The amber warnings within this, we'll look at that separately. High impact and relatively low likelihood. I do think that is more because of the size of the weather warnings. If it was split up into more regional warnings, then this impact matrix would be very different, because some of these areas in the yellow region are going to see a lot of heavy rain. Other areas, it perhaps could be a little bit more hit and miss, depending on exactly where the disturbance is and the weather fronts do set up. But regardless, huge amounts of rainfall. And you can see here they even state a separate amber warning is issued for eastern Scotland. If you look at the wind warning covering most of northern Scotland here, again, Storm Babet giving very strong winds from Thursday at 3 a.m. until midday. Again, it's not a typical autumnal storm or typical sort of windstorm we normally see that gets named, which normally sees gusts of 70, 80, 90 miles per hour. We're looking more at here 40 to 50 widely, maybe locally 60 or 70. Again, these wind gusts by themselves probably wouldn't warrant a named storm. Would warrant yellow warning, but not a named storm. It's that combined with the rainfall is why we are seeing this named. Again, high impact, low likelihood. Again, all these impact matrices are likely to get updated in the next 48 hours also as we do head closer and closer to the event. And then finally, if we have a look at the amber warnings from 6 a.m. on Thursday until 6 p.m. on Friday. So it doesn't start for about another 36 hours or so still can be updated. Increased confidence for a period of exceptional rainfall across this area. Area changed slightly to reduced northwestward extent. End time brought forward. Again, you can see it's 1 square away from red warning. So there is a real possibility the amber warning could get extended again tomorrow, and we could even see a local red warning. We're looking at low-lying areas, unusually heavy rainfall during this period, widely 70 to 100 millimetres, locally 150 to 200 millimetres. Again, very strong southeasterly winds combined with this to create some really quite horrible effects. And they haven't put it on the warnings yet, but there is probably scope to maybe issue even a snow warning through the weekend for some of the higher levels of Scotland. As we'll see the latest UKV in a minute, is producing some heavy snowfall over the highest ground. Now into Friday, no changes to those warnings. It's the same warnings that we issued on Thursday, so again, we won't run through them again. And then into Saturday, still got that yellow rain warning. But I do think there is definitely scope for this warning, for more warnings to be issued as we head into the weekend, as we'll now see on the latest UKV. So do run through the latest UKV. You can see that heavier rain across Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland through this evening. It does fizzle away and move more offshore. And then you see the main weather fronts associated with Storm Babet starting to move in. Very heavy rainfall through lunchtime for southwest England, parts of the Republic of Ireland. Heading northwards, giving a very soggy evening for much of England and Wales. Pretty much south of sort of the Midlands or so. And then through the latter parts of the afternoon and evening, heading northwards, eventually spreading into northern England and Scotland and starting the deluge for those areas. Now remember, the warnings are now only coming into force into early hours of Thursday, so a lot of these areas have already probably seen 10 to 20 millimetres of rainfall from this initial weather front. And then we'll see more heavy areas of rainfall move in, and you can see they're all coming in and they're sort of stalling as the wind direction changes. And you can see for number of frames here, we're just seeing heavy, persistent rain through much of Thursday afternoon into the evening with very little respite in those areas. We've got the amber warning, just persistent rain all day Friday. And then as we head into Friday evening into the weekend, you see that rainfall moves away. And this is where the warnings start to expire. So yeah, huge amount of rainfall through much of Thursday and Friday. And again, I'm going through this very quickly, these frames, but remember each of these frames is a 3-hour period. So 3 or 4 of these frames is half a day of constant rainfall, with the rainfall rates around 6 to 20 millimetres per hour. We're looking for that area. So again, over 4 or 5 hours, you're looking maybe 50 to 100 millimetres plus. And then as we head into Friday, as I said, the wind direction changes, easterly winds come in, and we start to see some snow showers across high levels of Scotland. And we haven't got any warnings issued for this yet, but into Saturday, look what happens. We see another weather front arrive, and this is the collision between warmer air to the south and colder air to the north. We actually see a period of pretty heavy snowfall across the highlands of Scotland. Again, really only the highest routes, but regardless, could see some significant accumulations in places. First significant accumulation of the season. Again, heavy rainfall falling on those already impacted areas. So this is why I do think Saturday will at least see another yellow, maybe even amber warning issued for these regions as that weather front moves in. But it's mainly looking like a Northern England and Scotland event there. And eventually things do start to fizzle out as we head into Sunday. If we look at the upper air temperatures, you can see cold air has wrapped in, and it's likely to cause more showers, but equally some colder conditions in general. Now, if you look at the wind gusts, you can see over the next 24 hours they'll start to pick up, maybe 50, 60 mile per hour for coastal areas and over higher ground. And again, when that weather front moves in tomorrow evening, could see 30, 40 mile per hour gusts quite widely. And then as we get into Thursday, into Friday, they really pick up on the northern edge of the rainfall as that easterly wind comes. Look at the high ground of Scotland, 80, 90 miles per hour is possible. Widely 60 or so. And then through the rest of Thursday, those winds eventually clear off to the north, but then re-emerge as that wind direction changes. And again, you can see another period of 60, 70 mile per hour winds through Thursday, Friday, and then to Saturday, another period of very strong winds as that next weather front moves in. So no single period of insanely strong winds, but plenty of batches of very strong gale force winds, enough to cause disruption, and of course mixed with that rainfall to bring pretty hideous conditions. Now the big thing is the temperature's actually going to be climbing this week, but we're probably not going to know it because there's going to be so much rain, so much wind, and so much horrible, miserable weather around that most of us will probably just not even think about it and look out the window and think it's a horrible day. But as I said, the temperatures will be rising, and you can see into tomorrow afternoon, we are going to see temperatures perhaps peak at 16, 17 degrees ahead of the weather front. And as we head into Thursday, for southern and western areas, could see again 16 to 18 degrees. Again, that's pretty mild, even relatively warm for mid to late October. But all that rain and cloud around and strong winds, it's not going to feel great at all. Into Friday, again, we start to see those temperatures actually start to fall in the north, down towards the low single digits or mid single digits. Southern areas could still just hang on to some warmth before the cold air moves in. And Saturday's looking like another pretty cold day, widely around the mid to low single digits across Scotland, 10 to 12 degrees elsewhere. So turning mild over the next sort of 3 days or so, and then the last couple of days of this latest UKV, it turns colder again. But again, the temperatures are the least of our worries with all that extremely heavy rain and very strong winds around. Now, after you finish the video, but just to briefly have a look at the longer range to see what is in store over the course of the next couple of weeks. Again, you can see Storm Babet moving in, giving very unsettled conditions. As I said at the start of the video, there's no real major defined centre of the low. It's this general trough of low pressure that spins around for a couple of days, giving very unsettled conditions before eventually fizzling away. You see that easterly wind comes in, it really only lasts about 48 hours before getting cut off. So yes, strong easterly winds, potentially some snowfall across highlands of Scotland, but lasting a very short period of time. Beyond that, as I said, it goes into quite a big westerly fest and lots of very unsettled, horrible conditions all the way to 384 hours, and even a bit of blocking starting to develop. Not in a way that would bring colder or settled weather, actually enveloping this low, probably keeping it trapped and continuing to give us very heavy rainfall. And look at 384 hours. We're absolutely cakes in rain. Again, there are some heavier areas around on this map, but the UK is pretty much consistently the wettest region, maybe apart from France there. As you see, we're all in the pinks to darker purples, all seeing 100 millimetres plus in the next couple of weeks. If we do look at the latest GM, again, Storm Babet moving in, those easterly winds arrive through the weekend, giving cold conditions across Scotland and cooler conditions elsewhere, but nothing crazy. Then as we head towards day 10, another big batch of westerly conditions. As we have a look at the ECMWF, again, very similar to the other one, Storm Babet moving in. Those easterly winds arrive for the weekend, pretty much all bang on now, all very similar all the way to the weekend. And then eventually, westerly flows continue to barrage marching off the Atlantic all the way to day 10, where it is continuing to look horrible. Now, after you finish by looking at the latest ensembles, these are the latest GFS, and again, you can see relatively mild over the next few days, but then we see that cooler drop into the weekend, but lots of heavy rainfall. And again, London is not going to be the biggest impact area. It's further northwards are going to see even more rainfall, but areas outside the yellow warning doesn't mean you're not going to see anything. You're still going to see some heavy rain at times, just not warning worthy. Beyond that, temperatures are around average for the time of year into the end of October, but look at that, still remaining very unsettled. 2 metre temperatures looking abysmal into the weekend, maybe 10 or 11 degrees at best under all that rain, and generally the long-term outlook is low teens at best. Again, if we compare to Glasgow, again, mid-single digits towards the weekend and even more rainfall in the next week or so. And finally, if we finish by having a look at the ensembles from the ECMWF run, again, mild over the next few days, lots of heavy rainfall around, and generally long-term temperatures are around the average mark for the foreseeable future. And look, no respite in those precipitation spikes either. So it's looking like a pretty horrible next couple of weeks, and very horrible next few days. Storm Babet is moving in, and it's not going to move through very quickly. It's going to give 3-4 days of widespread heavy rain in those bullseye areas further northwards, but even further southwards and westwards, we're going to be seeing lots of rainfall as well. So if you have got any outdoor plans over the next few days, make sure you have a look at the forecast, as it's most likely going to be raining or rainfall very nearby. Gusty winds and some dangerous conditions, especially in that amber zone further northwards. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Make sure you do subscribe if you are new. Tomorrow we'll have a winter update. So if we see a major change in the warnings, I will issue a video probably late tomorrow evening, only if we see a major shift in the warnings. But with the winter update coming out tomorrow, I won't probably be having another video until Thursday afternoon, evening time. So if I don't, so just make sure you do take care of yourself, as we will be within the amber warning zone and within Storm Babet by the time we get a next update out. So do make sure you stay safe, and I'll see you again for another video soon.